For me, success today partly is, have I managed to enrich myself through this experience? And not just enrich myself financially. I said actors are very fragile beings and very insecure beings. Because of the nature of what we do, we don't have the luxury of security. We grapple with it every second. Your film is successful, somebody tells you it's successful. You get box office collection, a critic will tell you whether you've done a good job. You have to validate what I do.
He's just one genius with the lines. Is like ditto with Mr. Bachchan. Some people, as I say, are take after take, they mature. Some people are brilliant on the first take, and Mr. Bachchan is like that. And he is also.
Hi everyone, welcome to Quint, and thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Abhishek, every time someone or you essay a role, it kind of enriches you as a person, I would like to think, along with your craft. What has this film added to you?
Oh wow. Firstly, thank you for that question. I think as actors, it's so nice to be asked something so important and relevant. It's something that I think about a lot. I have now been around 24, 25 years. And your reason for doing a lot of things keep evolving. In the last 6 to 7 years, a large part of why I choose a particular film, or a genre, or a maker, a huge part of that decision is based on what can I take away from this experience. That necessarily wasn't the criteria early in my career. Early, it was just the zest for doing what you do, and we want to be successful. Your definition of success changes with time and experience. For me, success today partly is, have I managed to enrich myself through this experience? And not just enrich myself financially. The purpose of art is not just to entertain. Our art, which is the film industry, is not just to entertain, but it's also something to look within and say, hey, how has this changed me? So a large part of the films that I've chosen in the last 5 to 6 years has been, what am I going to learn from this? What am I going to take away from this? The foundation of me getting the opportunity to work with him started with, I really want to work with this guy because I feel I can learn so much from him. With time we get very jaded in our films because there's so much at stake. And I'm not saying this negatively, but sometimes your priorities might not necessarily align with the makers.
Sure.
It has a lot to do with yourself. As an actor, you have to be very selfish, at least that's what you're taught. There's a huge element of vanity that comes into it. And I think he frees you of those shackles.
Oh, nice.
And with that, there's a lot of trepidation because you're like, wait, am I going to be okay? I've always said actors are very fragile beings and very insecure beings. Because of the nature of what we do, and what do we do? You're basically bearing your soul and your most vulnerable side to a camera, and you know that behind that camera, eventually there are going to be millions of people that are going to be judging you. It's very scary when you think of it like that. But to have the ability to put your actor at ease and say, listen, I got you. I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
To see dad do piku. Pink I can still understand.
Yeah.
For dad to do piku, it goes to show the amount of belief and comfort an actor has with the director to be able to show that side of them. Or even for dad to do Kulabo Sitabo.
Absolutely, I was going to say
They're
that
complete
next.
opposites of what they're known for, and actors will very rarely do that if they don't have complete trust in the person that is making it. So I've taken away that, learn, stop always questioning yourself and the director, learn to trust the process and choose a person that you can trust, and that's been a huge takeaway of mine. A second has also been that it was so weird because at first I thought I was in a yoga camp. Because the first 2 days of prep, he said, let's do breathing exercises. And I'm like, dude, I did this in like 10th grade drama. And the first 2 days in the office.
At your place?
Yeah,
at your
my office.
Yeah.
We were doing breathing exercises. Just before the camera would roll, he just looked at me and said, take a deep breath. And you take that and everything just calms down. That was a fantastic learning for me, and I implemented it after that there and whatever else I've shot after that.
A little earlier you mentioned about security and you mentioned about trusting the director. How important do you really think it is for anybody in the industry to have that sense of security, one? And have you ever sort of grappled with it in your careers?
I think it's very different for a director,
Right.
if I may, Dana, because they're the decision makers.
Yeah.
We're the providers. We don't have the luxury of security. We grapple with it every second. Some of us are just very accomplished at hiding that or performing that.
Yeah.
Actors grapple with it every second because your job is based on validation. Your film is successful, somebody tells you it's successful. You
Yeah.
get box office collection, a critic will tell you whether you've done a good job. You have to validate what I do. Regardless of how great I think I've done it, it's immaterial. I'm making a movie for somebody else. So everything that an actor does is reward based.
Yeah.
So if anything you do in life is based on somebody else's judgment, you're going to be very, very insecure. But I think all actors are insecure, and some of us just have better ways of masking it. But that's the job.
But I think understandably, like you said, it's for other people to judge and it's sort of in your hands.
Yeah.
Understandably. So would you like to add to that?
I'm more insecure about the script till the time I have a ready script. I'm not talking about money or anything else.
Sure.
I can write with my friends, but if I have those 20-pager of the film and in my control and it is my vision out there, that's my most secured, what you can say, bank balance I have. That's it.
Nice.
I'm not worried about what will happen to that. My security is always has been dependent on the script because I know I will make the film. That craft I have learned through and I will do it. And coming back to a little things, okay, financially that this film will do or not do well. Yes, sometimes you wonder because there are certain kind. It's an expensive medium, but then you need a very solid producer partner with you. Is Ronnie Lahiri with me? So he somehow manages and sees that okay, we will float. Are we able to take the hit, or we are able to are floating? We are moving on.
Right.
We are able to make the next film, and that's what we worry about. Because, and my films are not expensive, so in that sense, I'm not that worried. But yes, breaking even sometimes becomes a little worry.
So coming back to I Want to Talk, what was it about Sir's lived experiences that kind of inspired you to tell the story?
It's very difficult why I got to explain in words why I got interested in making a film inspired from his life journey. Line in the film to the doctor that for you Monday is Monday, for me Monday is right now. I don't know tomorrow there will be a Monday or not.
Yeah.
So that pulled me, number one. And second thing, of course, was that one line between him and his daughter, that his daughter asked him, will you dance at my wedding? And he had no answer. He says, yes, of course, I will dance at your wedding. I think that pulled me to his life, and then I got interested in his surgeries and his challenges with his body and how he was dealing with his daughter, the moments that he's not spent with his daughter.
When he told me the kind of film he wanted to do, and I discovered this after actually meeting Arjun Da, which was, I think, a good 1 week into our shoot. His daughter asked him that, will you dance at my wedding? Educated ourselves of all that he's been through, everything that life has thrown at him and how he's managed to walk out of it with flying colors. But right there, the reason for the film became so clear that, the other stuff became, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, became cosmetic. The motion of the film was just something very basic of a father saying, I'm going to do what it takes to dance at my daughter's wedding. That will give you inspiration and motivation to do anything as a parent, as a sibling, as a child.
At that moment, when my daughter asked me that, think what all are going in my mind. I have less than 100 days to live, based on doctors. Before you die, you can lie. That was an amazing thing I realized.
I like that.
No, it was not in the contract.
You should have told us this before.
He didn't want to get in the contract.
Humor in that that line.
Yeah, who's going to catch me? But the thing that was there was there was something positivity that somehow came in, because once I said that, she trusted me.
Wow.
And then it wasn't about the wedding or dance anymore. It was about itna BS I do in life as a glorified BS, but to a 3-year-old, once she believes, now the lie becomes reality. Okay. So it was no longer about the wedding. It was all about
True.
at as many days as I can be there for her, but make every day count.
Coming back to you, of course, you've directed Mr. Bachchan in so many films, and now Abhishek finally, and he said he's been wanting to work with you. Are there any stark similarities that stand out to you directing the two of them?
I think it's a testimony that what goes up has to come down. Once you reach the zenith of everything, it's only down here after that. Mr. Bachchan ke saath kar liya, abhi kya kare, chalo bachche.
A couple of things which I think even Abhishek has in him is, you know, I go with a script. Script becomes is like everything, it's like a Bible for me, you know. So there's very little chance between me and the actor of going away from the script. And with Mr. Bachchan is like you take any page on the script, we go to the page 57, he knows exactly what's there on that page. So he's that. I mean, where is the full stop? Where's the comma? He will know. He'll break the sentence like that. So that one quality I was always worried about. He was always very sure, don't worry the lines. And I was always worried, will he get all the lines right this?
Yeah.
Because a lot of other actors I know, they don't remember the lines. They'll have to feed with the lines. So my worry is if you feed the lines, then where is the performance will be? He's just one genius with the lines. Wow. Is like ditto with Mr. Bachchan. Another thing which I liked about him is he also is a very one take, first take or take two as an actor. Some people, as I say, are take after take, they mature. Some people are brilliant on the first take, and Mr. Bachchan is like that.
Yeah.
And he is also, on the first take, is the most spontaneous. Mr. Bachchan got this quality because in his time, there was film roles.
Yes.
And you could not waste those roles. So he will go for rehearsals and rehearsals. His way is also a lot like Irfan. Like give me datas, feed me. So my job was to feed him.
I think this movie is also about resilience, if I would like to say. When you just watch the trailer and you know it is telling a story about a person who's been extremely resilient. When I say the word resilient, is there a time or an instant in your life when you look back and think, oh, that was me being my resilient best?
It's a very difficult question. I feel we're all just surviving life. Like I said, the end result is going to be the same for all of us. My Dadaji used to tell me, "Ki jab tak jeevan hai sangharsh hai."
Correct.
And accept that. And my father told me this very early in my career, when I was a bit disheartened by the result of one of my films. And at that point, I thought that was very harsh words. I'm like, no, where's the silver lining? No, this is it. Find your peace in that. It's not going to be easy, but you find your happiness in that. And I think that's what Arjuna does, he knows what's at stake and he finds his reason to smile.
Abhishek, you're someone who's absolutely so refreshing to see in the social media space. I know everyone has a voice there, but it's very seldom that people use it responsibly and wisely, right? But you are someone who will call out the unsavory things that people say, and I think it's so important that people do. But does it sometimes for you, say, get difficult, or does it sometimes affect you, the things people say? You're just like, listen, it's a part of who I am and being a public figure.
Of course it affects you. We're all human beings.
Yeah.
Nobody likes any sort of negativity. And of course it affects you. I think social media is a great platform because everybody has their own private soapbox to stand on top and say what they have to say. Once in a while you should respond. Sometimes the greatest way to say something is say nothing at all. And you choose your moments. It also depends on your mood. But it is what it is. I don't think there's any point debating it because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's only going to get a lot worse than before it starts rectifying itself. We all hope and live with the hope that it will somewhere become better.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So if you can say something with a bit of humor, then why not?
And what would you have to say about, now we see like the importance, there's a lot of importance that is given for an actor to be seen, to be papped. And of course you started your career way back in 24 years ago,
Yeah.
when all this didn't exist, right? And if you go way back to the 80s, none of this was there. There was a mystery to the actors. It was all so exciting. Do you somewhere attach any importance to this culture of being seen and building a perception?
No. If there's one truth in an actor's life, and we pretty much, we spend so much of our time portraying other characters and living a lie, so to speak. But the one truth, if not the only truth, is at the end of the day, what happens on that big screen that's the truth. And that's all people care about. You can talk about social media, you can talk about media, you can do 50,000 interviews. That's not going to change anybody else's mind. What you do up on that big screen is all that matters. And if I were to give advice to anybody, my nephew, Agastya, has become an actor now. And I say, at the end of the day, none of this matters. All that matters is what you're doing up on that screen. That's all the people care about. Because when you're in that dark hall with your popcorn and your cold drink and your samosa and you're looking up at that screen and an actor does something that moves you, that's powerful. And that's all that matters. They couldn't care less about anything else apart from that. What you were wearing on what red carpet, what tweet you put out here, where you were packed, they couldn't care less. The only thing that matters is up there. So concentrate on that. That's the most important.
Just one last question to the two of you. Being a part of the industry for so long, if you had to quickly just say, pick a learning that you had along the way or something that kind of switched in you as a person along the journey of being an actor and being a director, what would that be?
To be fearless. Bollywood is a Maya Nagari, what we call. There is very easy chance of getting lost. Of your own integrity. I'm not getting lost. I'm not talking about anybody else. What I am as a person. What I am, and does it reflect in my films or not? What I am, it should reflect on everything what I do. It's not that my film is different and I am a different personality altogether. I cannot detach it like that. Because my first film, now when I look back, I think I have done so many foolish things on that film. And I have decided after that first film that I'm not going to repeat it. If I repeat that, I'll get lost. And because in the first film, I was in a lot of pressure. How this industry works, how the film should be, it should have a good ending, it should have a happy ending, it should have a that ending. All that was given to me and I succumbed to it. But that was the only film that I succumbed to. And after that, I don't. I do what I feel like, and that's what my learning was.
At the end of the day, I think you also realize that actors are just puppets. So find the right puppet master, I guess.
Oh no.
You found a lot of right puppet masters.
I hope so. I've
Everyone
enjoyed-
on the set is a friend, is a good friend. That's what it is for me as a director.
No, absolutely. Everybody sets out to make a successful film. It is a business, and we're very cognizant of it. Nobody goes out there to make a film. But that's not in your control. Third parties going to come and judge you, who are not emotionally or financially invested in the film whatsoever. So they have no reason to like it. You have to give them a good reason. So whether a film is a hit or a flop is not in your hands. What is in your hands is that you can one day sit back on your porch, on your rocking chair, and look back on the memory of making the film, and that memory gives you a smile. That's in our control, and that's what you should work with. So I like to enjoy the process of making it. Because yes, Sone Pe Suhaga becomes successful, fantastic, that's what we wanted. It didn't, okay, trim your sails, understand what went wrong, try and rectify it the next time around if you get the opportunity. But the process should be something that's memorable.
Right. So to making memories and being fearless.
Yeah.
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 Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank
Good
you.
luck for the film. This
Thank
was
you.
lovely.
Thank you.